sanctions enable Iran's elite to sustain a corrupt system of ownership over large parts of the economy. The designations announced by the United States Department of the Treasury target execution of Imam Khomeini's order and Astan Quds Razavi, their leaders and subsidiaries. These are the latest actions to reinforce the maximum pressure campaign on Iran pursued by the United States President Donald Trump's administration. The Justice Department announced today that 3 individuals have been charged in an indictment with conspiracy to export United States goods to Iran in violation of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and the Iranian Transactions and Sanctions Regulations, as well as conspiracy to smuggle goods from the United States and conspiracy to engage in international money laundering. The defendants deceive United States companies, illegally obtained sensitive US items and transshipped those items through the United Arab Emirates to Iran in violation of US law, said Assistant Attorney General for National Security John C. Demers. Such actions dilute the effectiveness of sanctions against Iran. The Justice Department is committed to vigorously enforcing United States sanctions and to successfully countering the Iranian regime's destabilizing activity. Homeland Security Investigations uses export control statutes to ensure sensitive technologies that develop in the United States do not fall into the hands of those that intend to harm Americans or our allies, said Vance R. Callender, special agents in charge of United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Homeland Security investigations in Michigan and Ohio. Iran has been subject to international sanctions for more than 40 years and has continuously and furtively tried to obtain items that could be used against United States soldiers in conflict or Americans abroad. HSI special agents work in cooperation with private industry partners and the Department of Commerce to ensure our country's national security profile. This indictment demonstrates the Office of Export Enforcement's continued commitment to enforcing our nation's export control laws, said Special Agent Dan Clutch in charge of the Office of Export Enforcement Chicago Field Office. We will continue to work with our law enforcement partners to counter Iran's illicit procurement networks that threaten United States national security interests. Charged in the indictment are Arash Yousefi Jam, 32, an Iranian national living in Ontario, Canada. Arash Jam was arrested by United States authorities on December 23, 2020. Amin Yousefi Jam, 33, an Iranian national living in Ontario, Canada, and Abdullah Momeni Rustani, also known as Abdullah Momeni, Ab Momeni, and Amir Amiri, 44, an Iranian national believed to be living in Iran. On Friday, the United States announced the designation of Iran's Marine Industries Organization, Aerospace Industries Organization, and the Iran Aviation Industries Organization for engaging in activities that materially contribute to the supply, sale, or transfer directly or indirectly to or from Iran or for the use in benefit of Iran of arms or related material, including spare parts. Each of these entities manufactures lethal military equipment for Iran's military, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, a designated foreign terrorist organization that is also designated under our authority targeting weapons of mass destruction, proliferators, and their supporters. This military equipment, which includes attack boats, missiles, and combat drones, provides a means for the Iranian regime to perpetrate its global terror campaign. MIO, IIO, and IAIO were all previously sanctioned pursuant to the same WMD Counter-Proliferation Authority. In its recent report, Human Rights Watch said that Iran is one of the leading implementers of the death penalty, executing 233 people during 2020 as of November 19th. Including for crimes committed as children and those that do not meet the international standard for the most serious crimes. outages have been compounded by cryptocurrency mining, which uses banks of high-powered computers. Cities across Iran have been cloaked in thick layers of toxic smoke and darkened by blackouts, as the alleged use of low-quality fuel and power-sucking cryptocurrency mining deepen the country's hardships. Videos of anti-regime graffitis on social networks show how Iranians feel outraged over tyrants in Iran. Graffitis carry messages of defiance and also of hope. Long live the king, death to Khamenei, and death to dictators. Students in Iran unveiled a memorial for the victims of Ukrainian jetliner flight number 752, deliberately shot down by IRGC. Further, a group of citizens, ranchers, workers, and teachers held protests in the country over financial difficulties, unpaid wages, lost money, and job issues. Iranian citizens sent a clear message to the world that the Islamic Republic of Iran is not my choice. He put a curse on the regime, saying that we the people want regime change in Iran. He chanted, "Long live the king, long live the Pahlavi dynasty," and teared up the image of Khamenei. In a televised statement, the Khomeinist regime's leader bans the United States Pfizer and UK Oxford vaccine, called them untrustworthy. Khamenei has put people's lives in danger for his political ambitions. 3 young Iranian demonstrators who were arrested during the nationwide 2019 Iran protests were sentenced to a total of 40 years in prison for alleged charges of enmity against God through burning gas stations and images of Supreme Leader Khamenei. The Islamic regime to execute a second Iranian champion wrestler, the 29-year-old Mehdi Ali Hosseini, was arrested in 2015 for alleged charges of murder during a group brawl, was sent into isolation, set to be put possible execution. Iranian citizen has questioned Khamenei in regards to providing funding to regional proxies that has left Iranians back home with a limited budget. As a result, the country is experiencing a shortage of COVID-19 vaccines. He added that our compatriots are furious to see suitcases of cash given to terrorist groups. Graffiti on walls in Iran shows public rage against the regime's decisions over COVID-19 vaccines. Written in Farsi, "We are waiting for Pfizer and Moderna in Iran. Coronavirus vaccine request is a national requirement." Tehran police chief says those people who post images and videos of bag snatch online will be arrested. The Islamic Republic prohibits the disclosure of crimes, but not the crime. Angry Iraqis held protests in several cities, teared up Soleimani's posters. Desperate shopkeeper climbed a tree to protest after officials closed his shop for no reason. Amir Ali Hajizadeh, commander of IRGC Air Force, says that IRGC has maintained that all missile capabilities in Gaza and Lebanon were developed with the financial assistance of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now we can see why the people of Iran shout, "Neither Gaza nor Lebanon, my life for Iran." Political prisoners Ali Nouri and Rahele Ahmadi are deprived of medical treatment. The Islamic Revolutionary Court sentenced them to prison term for alleged assembly and collusion against national security. Shahryar Rahnam, who was arrested during the nationwide Iran protests in 2019, hanged himself after being released because he could not bear the consequences of barbaric tortures, according to his mother. Wahid and Habib, whose brother was extrajudicially sentenced to death and hanged in September 2020, are still kept at Shiraz's notorious Adilabad prison. State-sponsored online stores in Iran removed a cross-platform encrypted messaging service Signal for alleged criminal content charges. A group of citizens, students, retirees, truck drivers, shareholders, educators, medical staff, and workers held protests in Iran in the past week over financial difficulties, unpaid wages, lost money, job issues, and unemployment. Reliable sources have informed SOHR that Iranian forces and their proxy militias redeployed in the past few hours in areas which came under the most intensive Israeli airstrikes on Syria yesterday. The Iranian forces and their proxies have redeployed troops in the cities of Deir ez-Zor, Al-Mayadin and Al-Bukamal after they had evacuated several positions on the outskirts of these cities. According to the SOHR sources, a group of Iranian-backed militias has been deployed in residential neighborhoods for the fear of future airstrikes, and the other group have been deployed in the other affiliated posts. On Wednesday, SOHR documented the death of 57 people, all killed in Israeli airstrikes on positions, weapons warehouses, ammunition and missiles depots affiliated to regime forces, the Lebanese Hezbollah, Iranian forces and their proxy militias, mainly Fatemiyun Brigade, in the area between Deir ez-Zor city and the Syria-Iraq border in Al-Bukamal desert. The Pentagon deployed more B-52H bombers to the Middle East in another demonstration of the United States' military commitment to the region. According to a United States defense official, 2 bombers flew a 36-hour non-stop mission from Beniad Air Base in North Dakota to the Arabian Gulf and back. The temporary deployment is the 4th in the last 2 months and the first bomber mission of 2021.